Ready.
Islam. Last week we did the Philadelphia tour. How about that? Forgive me. I'd like to request permission from my notice to speak.
Permission granted.
Last week we did the Philly tour, and for the few people who went, I gave some homework. And that homework was the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. And you were supposed to put spots in Philadelphia that corresponded to the circle, because Center City, Philadelphia is laid out like the Tree of Life. So, I'll give y'all two, and then I'll see if anybody that was on the tour, or anybody in the room that knows the city, can come up and fill a couple of them in. So I'll give y'all two. Art Museum at the top, which is at the end of the Franklin Institute, Ben Franklin Parkway, and the statue of Chief Tannen, which is at Front Market, right in front of Interstate 95. Is there anybody else who can fill one in for me? Just one. Anybody who wants to try? Oh, you can tell me, that's fine. Where would you gonna put it at, though?
Top.
Right here?
Right there.
I'll put it in anyway.
What's that?
30th Street Station, the train station.
Oh, wow.
Anybody else?
That City Hall,
Where, right here? Oh, man, City Hall. Come on. Now, let me say this. Remember, Philadelphia is an old city. All right, old. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Love Park.
Love Park.
Yeah.
Where?
It should be in front of City Hall.
Right here?
Yeah.
No.
Or is that the across from the library? It's a fountain.
Which one? Talking about this circle right here?
Yeah.
What's the name of that fountain?
I don't know.
Anybody know the name of it?
I just know it's a fountain
Nah,
right
that's
there.
not Eakins Over. Eakins Over is down there where our museum is at. Logan. Where's the circle?
Who?
Now, where is Logan Square on that? You know Logan Square is the park, right? Where is it though? No, I mean on here. Where will correspond to? Anybody? This is the art museum. That's Logan Circle. That one corresponds to
I thought that was 30th Street.
That's what she said. She said 30th Street, so I just put it up there.
Okay, so where you putting that now?
Logan Square. That's the park. That's the park that's over on Walnut Street.
Is two parts to
Yeah.
Logan Square?
No,
I'm confused.
one is Logan Circle.
Ah,
The other is
okay.
Logan Square.
Gotcha.
Right. So I'm going to raise 30th Street, because I don't want to confuse anybody.
Okay.
Square.
What would this correspond to? Two buildings with city.
Um,
Down on the park.
Library and,
Library and Children's Court.
yeah.
1801 and the library. Let's keep on going through the city. If this is Chief Tannen, what would be here? Chief Tannen is at Front and Market, so we're going back. We're going back west now. Good.
Washington Square, Congo Square. One of those is Congo Square.
All right, one of them is Congo Square, but which one?
The one directly behind Center City.
Behind Center City, all of it is, you mean behind City Hall? You mean
Yeah,
this?
City Hall. City Hall.
Okay. That would be Congo Square.
Yeah.
Anybody know anything about Congo Square?
It's where all the Moorish soldiers was buried at.
That's where all the Moorish soldiers were buried at. Right now, if you go down to Congo Square, they call it Washington Square. right across the street from Independence Hall. What is that, Sixth Street? Sixth and Chestnut?
Yeah.
So if you go over there, you'll see that it says Washington Square, and they have a statue of George Washington in the back of the park, standing in his Masonic pose, with his half pillar, letting you know that it's 100% Masonic. And you'll see that they actually tell you that your soldiers are buried there, that it's a burial ground. And now they got people walking their dogs in there and defecating and urinating all over the graves, and people walking through there and just hanging out in the park. We don't go hang out in no other cemeteries. So why are we hanging out in that? Right? I'm not sure if they did that or not. All right, so that would be Congo Square, and that would be Chief Tammany. What's that? I mean, you're in the same area. You're still in Old City, and it's important buildings, old important buildings all back there. So which one would that be? You work there, so you should get the building. All right, so if it's not perfectly aligned, but the point is that it's still laid out just like this. I'm gonna tell you all that. I'll put that there. Independence Hall.
Independence Hall, yeah.
Is Independence Hall?
You got two more circles.
Is that the Constitution? The
On this
Center?
side.
Constitution
Where the
Center?
Constitution Center is?
Yeah.
Y'all remember when they were building the Constitution Center? Y'all remember people out there protesting?
Yeah.
Yep. Why?
Was it the grave?
Because of the graves. So you have a graveyard here with your ancestors, and you have a graveyard here
Over there, yeah.
with your ancestors. There's also a graveyard across the street from the Constitution Center. Who's buried over there? Anybody know? Who?
Well, I know Franklin's across the street from
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Across the street
I think it's the south
at Fifth and Arch.
east corner, yeah.
Right? So they desecrate yours. And they preserve his. They got cameras pointing down to his grave from across the street at the Federal Mint. But they desecrated your graves. Let you go over there and party. People sat out there and protested and had a big old hissy fit when they wanted to build the Constitution Center. And last circle.
It's right across the street from the, so the cattle corner, City Hall, what is that, the Masonic? Masonic Lodge?
There you go. They're using your culture, your history, just like that. Just like that. All of that stuff is ancient, old stuff. They laid it out for you just like that. Even people who went on the tour last week, all of the stuff that we came across, that Rob's been told us about, it's right in your face, right?
Right.
All of it is right in your face, slapping you every chance they get. They slapping you in the face because they know we don't know what to look like. That's why only one brother sent me a picture, and he filled his in, and I was happy that he did. It was incorrect, but I was happy that he did because he really put in an effort to get it in. You know what I'm saying? And that's not knocking nobody else because I know this was going to be tough. It was just going to be fun. But there it is right there. All in your different places. They have you believing that the Independence Hall is theirs, the Constitution Center is theirs, when you gave them the Constitution. They got you believing the Masonic Lodge is theirs, when they got masonry from you. City Hall, Old War Ground. Anybody know what's on the North Gate at City Hall?
Zodiac.
Nah.
What's that?
This is Zodiac, isn't it?
Cornerstone.
The cornerstone is in the grave in the northeast corner. Any of y'all ever just go to City Hall and just look around?
No. Are you talking about up in the ceilings?
No. That's what I'm talking about. They got that cornerstone. The cornerstone, why is the cornerstone in the open grave pit? Right there for you to read it, where it says, and it's got all this Masonic information on it. Right there for you to read. That's right in the northeast corner. Now, when you come in, if you're coming down Broad Street and you're looking at City Hall with South Philly behind you, there's an inscription on the top of the doorway. Anybody know what it says? It's the only walkway with an inscription. It says justice. It's the only walkway with an inscription that says justice. What's justice? And they said this was, well, we'll go over that in a minute. Can I raise this? Everybody got it? Everybody good? We're going to hit the land ordinances today and treat it a piece of friendship. But before we do, I want to share something with y'all. Last week, Cujo put a post on Facebook, and the post was, what it said was, if you want to know more about Moors, why are you asking unconscious Negro, colored, and black people? Ask more if you want to know more. Because people who are not conscious of the science, they'll argue with you. Yes, we are black. Black power, black this, black that, Negro this, color that. So a woman went on behind Cujo and she responded, well, y'all Moors this, y'all Moors that, blah, 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 I don't understand this, I don't understand that. So I said, all right, cool. I started to go back and forth with her to enlighten her so she would be able to understand some things because she seemed completely unaware. We must have shared about maybe 30 messages. And one of the messages was, what is our nationality? So I went back and told her about the Moroccan Empire. I told her about Al Morocco. I told her about America. I said, technically, you're Al Moroccan. I said, but presently, we live in America. I said, so American will do. Well, some other Temple Moor got offended because I said American, and I didn't say Moorish American. Whether I say American or whether I say Moorish American, it's the same thing. If I say Al Moroccan, if you have been studying and if you know, then you know I'm saying the same thing. So he didn't appreciate the way I answered. He said in bold letters, SetenRa Bey, didn't she ask you what the nationality was? And then he put his next message. The correct response is Moorish American. So I responded, all right, bro, look, sister asked the question, I answered it. If you don't like the way I answered it, okay, no problem. I said, she has an answer. I said, now respectfully, let's let that be that. I ain't had nothing else to say about it. This dude proceeded to put about 7 more messages. So I said, listen, respectfully, I don't want to argue with you or anybody else. Let's dead it. He ain't want that. He proceeded to put another 10 messages, calling me a fraud, telling me he see what he see what's going on, his eye is sharp, and he's been trained to spot out people like me. What temple do you go to in Philly? And then he proceeded to tell on me. He told 2 other people, 2 other Moors, check him out. Check me out. So, all right, cool. I didn't respond. I'm not going to go back and forth with him. I ain't going back and forth with none of y'all. I'm not going to argue with you. If we can't sit down and we can't talk, and we can't have a conversation whether we agree or not, I'm done. So the very next day, I get a message from the lady who I was attempting to help, who he had gotten in contact with, and she sent me a message that said, this Moor wants you to friend him on Facebook. So my response was no. Because he could have got in touch with me personally. He could have inboxed me, and he could have said, listen, SetenRa Bey, I don't agree with this. Why did you say that? Can we talk about this? How about that? He didn't do that. That's what a man should have did. She sent me all these messages where his brother said, tell him I know Taj to read better. I don't care. Tell him that Taj was married to this woman. Now I'm getting pissed.
TMZ.
Well, I'm getting pissed because of this. If you don't know this woman, then why the hell are you telling her all the Taj's business? Taj started Moore's Order of the Round Table in 1982. Taj did this. Taj. You think because you're saying all this stuff that's public knowledge about Taj, that I'm gonna say, oh, he knows Taj? Not at all. So one of two things is going on. Either they know each other and they up to something, or this fool is telling a complete stranger all the Taj three-days business.
There's three. The other one, they're dirty. They're just dirty Moors.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. That's why I say something's going on.
Yeah, they're dirty.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's
So-
in the conflict.
Although I put it to rest, you know, stuff like that stays in the back of your head. You know what I'm saying? They sitting there and they saying, this, he said, we studied the prophet's work. And that stayed in my mind. We studied the prophet's work. So you're in the temple. Now don't get me wrong, y'all. I don't have an issue with the temple. I got an issue with people. I go to Toronto, all the way to Toronto and Canaan land, and hang out with Grand Sheik Cujo in his temple. She's been up there with me in his temple. So I don't have an issue with the temple, it's the people. I could have simply questioned him on Facebook publicly for everybody to see and made him and whatever temple he's a part of look like a fool. But I didn't, because then people are going to start to look on that Facebook page and say, that's the problem with them now. But in reality, it's the problem with all of us. It's the problem with all of us. I don't have no quarrels, and I don't think y'all have no quarrels about me, what I'm here to do, where I came from. If I'm an agent, I don't have no issues with none of that. None of it. And I think if y'all did, y'all wouldn't be here. So what I was doing yesterday, as I was in the house and I was talking to Bree, and I said, most people can't look themselves in the eye. Most people can't look themselves in the eye. And then I talked to Ms. Phyllis this morning, and she said, yeah, well, I was a part of a class a little while ago, and the project was this, for people to stand and look in the mirror for 10 minutes. And people can't do it. So me, being me, I bought a mirror. There's one back there, but that was too far back. But I bought a mirror because I can look into my eyes, and I know what I see. I see a man who's endured a lot in 38 years. I see a man who's fought back from pain, fought back from adversity, fought back from all types of stuff. I used to be ashamed. I used to be ashamed to tell people that I didn't finish high school. And now I'm standing there looking at all y'all smiling and saying, I didn't finish because I didn't finish. I used to blame my mom, used to blame my pop. Nah, I ain't finished because I ain't finished. It was easy, and I took it for granted, and I just did what I wanted to do. School was always easy for me. Bad. The only thing I didn't like was the science classes, but other than that, it's a piece of cake. And that used to trouble me, but it doesn't anymore. Because the education that I received after high school,
It's a really
man, yeah. I don't want to say I'm self-taught, because I had a lot of great teachers, but I started to study on my own, outside of that. And now I'm here amongst all of y'all, amongst people like Delilah and James and Jocko and Mike. I'm sitting here again amongst all of y'all. And in my mind, I can't beat it. I get to travel to other places and hang out with other people with like minds. To me, you can't beat it, but that's because for me, I can look into this mirror and know who I'm looking at. So I got a challenge. I want to know who can stand in front of the mirror. Anybody, just walk up there and look at yourself, look into your own eyes, and then tell me what you see. If y'all don't want to do it, I'm fine. But I can look into the mirror. I know who I see and I know what I see. Amen. yourself?
Yes,
You love yourself?
yes,
I want you to remember something. Always love yourself. Always. Always remember that one comes before two in every language. That means you come first, always. All right? That's how I need y'all. Anybody else want to look into the mirror? If at any time while we're doing class you decide you want to look into the mirror, fine. You ain't got to say nothing. Just walk up there and look in there. If you like what you see, then you know. If not, and then don't be trying to look in the mirror. I see y'all sitting back. Don't try to sit there and look in the mirror.
You got another mirror right here, too.
Baby?
Mirror over here.
Yeah, well, you know, if y'all want to go look into the mirror, go take a peek into the mirror and see who it is. So, I don't want this to seem like it in the church. And then trying to call people. I don't want this to seem like it in the church. But don't be afraid to look into your own eyes. Most people can't even make eye contact with other people when they talk. I scan the room and constantly look in your eyes.
Because they're lying.
They either lying, they got something to hide.
Yeah, they're
You
lying.
know what I'm saying?
They can't look someone in the
Good
face.
afternoon, everybody. Like I was saying to SetenRa earlier, I had a class, I had a leadership class. And the challenge was to look into the mirror. Take 10 minutes, see if you stand in there 10 minutes with nothing on. Just looking in the mirror and not just looking at your eyes or your face, but just look at your whole being and then start looking deeper in yourself. And in taking that class, at first, I couldn't look for so long. Then after a while, as I kept growing in the class, I could see a change in myself. And just looking in the mirror now, I can still see that I'm still growing. So, you're gonna know who I really am.
Ms. Willis, it's an old African proverb, and it's know thyself. And so many of our people run around, and they keep saying, know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. Even this. I self, law, and master. Self and master. How many people are master of themselves?
Working on it,
Work in progress.
Working on it.
working on it.
Working on it. Self and master. That brother that questioned me, I don't think he's mastered himself. I don't think he's mastered the science that he claims he studies. I don't think that lessons that he says come from this brother, he understands. Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us to study, 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 and then what? You ask what else to study, study yourself. That brother can't truly know the teachings of the prophet, like he said, because as opposed to trying to blast me in public, what he should have done was gotten at me privately. Because if it's something that I don't understand, now I'm just speaking for myself, is what I would have done. If it's something that I don't understand, that I should, then he should have corrected me privately and instead of public. It's almost like if I have an agreement, if I got a disagreement with SetenRa, I can sit here and argue with him in front of all of y'all, or I can wait till class is over and say, yo, man, what are you talking about? But when I argue with him in front of all of y'all, then it looks like, well, there's no unity, we can't get along. But if I take him back here and we just talk, don't none of y'all even know. Don't none of y'all even know. The brother asked me what temple I go to. I didn't respond. I wasn't going to respond because I wasn't going to go back and forth with him. But a lot of people, even the woman that we were questioning, she said to me, you have to be attached to a temple. And you have to be attached to a body, correct? That's what she said. Now, could this be considered a temple?
Everywhere more.
Could this be considered a temple?
Definitely.
My temple.
Definitely.
So, if he studied prophet, and if he studies outside of the prophet, because I don't know how many of y'all been to temples, a lot of them don't really teach much.
Exactly.
A lot of them stay within the 101s and the Circle 7 Holy Quran, and that's it. But the prophet set up the temple to teach what? Teach civics, right? Nationality, of course.
That'll be our setup.
Civics, law. Nationality. The sister said to me, don't you have to go to the temple to be nationalized? So I simply asked her, where do Chinese people go to become Chinese? You know what her response was? No. And see, because it wasn't funny, it's disheartening. Her response was, I don't know.
But I'll say what's the number?
Even if you don't know your nationality, only common sense would tell you the only thing you need to do to be Chinese is be born Chinese.
Yeah, right in the womb.
So why do I have to do anything to be more? The whole purpose when I initially set out, I said I was going to do the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and the Constitution. And then I got instruction from Taj and from Roz and from the booth standing back there that I had to go back further. We gotta really dig deep. We can't just scratch the surface. But my whole point was this. Everybody thinks that he created Moors. You were Moor before 1886. Was it 86 or 89 when he was born? 1886. You were Moor before that. Well, you got to understand that when he took over the Old Canaanite Temple in 1913, and then enacted the Moorish Holy Science Temple, it was to bring you back to this because you forgot. Because you forgot. He came back to give you this. He resurrected this. Where was it tucked away?
Sixth floor down.
In a vault.
6 stories down.
He brought you back this. He brought you back this. He didn't make you more. He reminded you that you were more because you forgot. He came back to teach you about law, to bring you back to what? Constitutional form of government. He brought you civics to do what?
Teach you about government.
To teach you, so you'll be active. He asked for active Moors, not passive Moors. We got all these people in the temple that he set up that's not running the temple the way he set it up. He told you you were part and parcel of the land. Parcel. They teach this in the temple. Anybody know the difference?
Parcel is land, and partial, which sounds redundant because they say a part and partial. Part and partial is the same word.
So if you,
That's land.
so when they say part and parcel,
That's land.
that means that the land under your feet,
Feet is yours.
you are naturally a part of.
Yeah.
They don't teach this. They teach that. Then you go to the temple and it's almost like church. We was in Indianapolis last year. Rick got up and left. Rick got up and walked out the temple while the assistant grand chief was talking. Rick got up and bounced. Why do you think the elder got up and bounced?
Why, Rick?
Reverse church.
It's church. Rick said, I'm not sitting there for this, and he left. I stayed because it was going to be my first time experiencing it. So I wanted to see it.
Right.
was church. It was church. So when a brother asks me what temple I go to, I don't have to respond. When a brother asks if I'm a fraud, check me out. So, check me out. If I'm a fraud, then hey man, then expose me. Then expose me. The fraud is not me not being in the temple and teaching this. The fraud is them being in the temple, not teaching that.
That's right.
Not teaching that. I always have admiration for Prophet Noble Drew Ali for his work. If you don't, you just flat out being disrespectful. This man actually lived. They got people out here who were killed in the name of Jesus. But ain't nobody willing to just step forward and be a man for Prophet Noble Drew Ali and for what he truly taught. I got a book over here. I don't know if y'all have it. If it comes in, y'all can get a hold of it. The Oral Statements and Prophecies of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This is not just a book of what he said, but it's people recounting what he said because they were there. I just opened up the book. One day bombs are going to fall out of the sky so they won't miss a spot as wide as my shoe. That's number 62. Where we at today? There's war everywhere. Every land outside of here, and they have internal wars here, but there's war everywhere. This United States is involved in a lot of stuff that we can't even fathom.
And they still want to be involved in this war. They want to go back into Iraq.
They want to go wherever.
They can't go there. They have no money to go there.
It says when the European goes back to Europe, the climate will go back to what it needs to be. The climate in the United States at one time was a tropical climate before the European got here. Now that the European is here, and now that we have to deal with HARP, and the rest of them little European scientists playing with their marbles and coming up with all this, we got all this crazy weather. We got chemtrails. I mean, they doing chemtrails everywhere. I was in the Grand Canyon, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'll be damned. Who's in the Grand Canyon? What is in the Grand Canyon? So why they all just working? They ain't leaving no stone unturned. If you want to study the prophet, study the prophet's work. You don't have to go anywhere except in your own heart, in your own mind, and then start to study. Once you get clear with yourself in your own heart and your own mind, then you can stand right here. And just so y'all know that I wasn't just popping off, I'm going to stand right here, and I'm looking in my own eyes. I'm not looking at the ground. I'm not looking away. I'm not looking up. I'm looking into my eyes. And I'm not convicted. I'm not convicted. I'm not ashamed, scared, or embarrassed to look into my eyes or any of yours.
Yeah, I just want to underscore what you're saying about yourself. I studied a lot of the prophets, the different prophets, Confucius, Muhammad, and all of them have this mantra that says, man, know thyself.
Yes, yes.
All of them.
Yes.
If you don't know yourself, get to know yourself. Be willing to sit down and look in the mirror and check yourself. Don't say nothing else to me and nobody else until you can check you. If you can't check you, you ain't got nothing to say to me. Nothing at all. Islam?
Islam.
Now we can go into land ordinance. Anybody bring all that paperwork back that I gave you? I ain't got no more. I have no more. I kind of figured for people who were going to come that they wasn't going to bring it, so I actually intended to do a PowerPoint today to put it on the screen so everybody would be able to see it, but we got bumped up here so we couldn't use it. Wish I had that mic upstairs. Huh? It might, I think it's in the house. We're going to go over this land ordinance of 1785, and then we're going to jump into the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. What year was Noble Drew Ali born again? 1886. This is 1785, a whole 101 years prior. Everybody that has that, you ready? Land ordinance of 1785. An ordinance, now this is just the definition, I'm gonna read y'all, ordinance. An ordinance is an authorized directive or a firm directive on how to act or run a system of government. May 20th, 1785, an ordinance for ascertaining the mode of disposing of lands in the Western Territory. Anybody know what was considered the Western Territory? This is the map. This is the map that I gave you all. Western Territory?
North America.
Not in North America, but not specifically. Right. Anything west of the Ohio River was considered Western Territory. Pennsylvania, Maryland, New York, Delaware, and Jersey comprised part of the 13 colonies. So everything west of that was going to be considered the Western Territory. Northwest Territory was Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Anything in purple that's on this map is considered U.S. territory. Anything that's green, which was 13 colonies, were already established states. You need me, can you zoom in or you need me to come closer? Already established states. Boom. Us. Huh? I'm in the black and white. A surveyor from each state shall be appointed by Congress or a committee of states. Congress was who? If you remember from the 1777 and 1643 Articles of Confederation. Moorish. Now the committee of states were who? From the same documents. The committee of states were the Europeans who were put in place in case Congress was out. If Congress was out, then they put the committee of states, a group of Europeans from the United States, in place to do the bidding, to do the job of Congress, and Congress when assembled. So a surveyor from each state shall be appointed by Congress or a committee of the states, who shall take an oath for the faithful discharge of his duty before the geographer of the United States, who is hereby empowered and directed to administer the same, and the like oath shall be administered to each chain carrier by the surveyor whom he acts. We got officials taking oaths today. Something wrong with your document? You don't have the same document?
No, I'm just looking at what you're saying.
Okay. The seventh land order, 1785. What do y'all have?
Northwest.
Not 1787, 1785. We'll do that one next.
I didn't have that.
All right, we'll keep reading. Just try to follow along with me, yo. Well, you see, they took oaths even back then, 1785, for the faithful discharge of his duty. The same thing they do today. They take oath to the Constitution for a faithful discharge of their duty, but they always go against it. Always. You go against an oath, it's called what? Treason. And you know, just on the side part, people always say to me, you know, why should I be nationalized? We dealing with unmoral people, people who won't respect the treaty, people who won't respect authority. You know why? Because they're not being forced to. It's only when we dig down deep and we do what we got to do. But if it's just me that's fighting and that's arguing and saying, look, man, you went against your oath, blah, 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 they're going to look at me and laugh. But if we all in this room went down there and said, look, y'all did Jocko wrong. This is our nation state right here. This is our nation state right here, this room, this group. Because they're not being forced to do anything. They just living a life. bully keep beating up your son, sooner or later, they care about your son. The geographer, under whose direction the surveyor shall act, shall occasionally form regulations for their conduct, as he shall deem necessary, and shall have authority to suspend them for misconduct in office. That almost sound like the policy enforcers. They get suspended for misconduct in office. They never get held accountable for anything. And shall make a report of the same to Congress or the Committee of States, and he shall make a report in case of sickness, death, resignation of any surveyor. Now these are the people who are going to survey the land, who are going to the Northwest Territory to survey the land so they can have townships and things of that nature. Now people who went on the tour last week, you remember Ross Ben told us about the Lenni Lenape being sent into the Ohio Territory. So when you get into this document and it says Indian Territory, or even you look at the map, who has that map? You see, you hold it. You see where it says Indian Territory?
Yeah.
Where is it? What state?
Yeah.
Doesn't it say Indian Territory to the left?
Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right, cool. I got it right here. Oh, it actually, you know what? Forgive me, it actually doesn't say it on there.
Yeah.
But where it says Ohio, 1803, was what was considered. All of that over there was considered Indian Territory. Now, for people who went on the tour last week, you heard Ross Ben tell you that when Tedesca was killed, they said he died from smallpox, but we usually don't get smallpox. Smallpox came from them. So when he died from smallpox on the way back from the Eastern Territory, and they told the chiefs here that he signed away all the land, they kicked him out of the Pennsylvania Territory and sent him west into the Ohio Territory, the Ohio Valley. And then you get what they call the Indian Territory. Who were the Indians? That's another moniker they put on us. And a lot of us accepted it for purpose, for a little bit of land and a couple casinos and a couple Federal Reserve notes. The surveyors are respectively qualified, shall proceed to divide the said territory into townships of 6 square miles by running lines due north and south, and others crossing these at right angles, near as may be, unless where the boundaries of the late Indian purchases may render the same impracticable, and then they shall depart from this rule no further than such particular circumstances may require. Now, this is why I wanted to do the PowerPoint, because I need that color copy back. I wanted to show y'all on the screen how they divided the land and how they got all of these different townships. How they got all these different townships. I'll try to drive on the board. This is how they divided up your land. Just imagine the grid like this. This square right here was 6 square miles. One square mile is 640 acres. It's supposed to be 36 squares here. 640 times 36, 23,040 acres. This is how they divided up your land. 23,040 acres. And you'll see as we read, one Federal Reserve note per acre. this is how they divided up your land. They were supposed to give you 40 acres and a mule. And you ain't get that, but this is what they divided up. And that's just in that 36 square miles. So let's get back into this. And then you'll start to see how you got Jamestown and Bricktown and SetenRa Town and Hanifburg and all these other places. The first line running north and south, as aforesaid, shall begin at the Ohio River, at a point that shall be found due north from the western termination line, of which has been run as the southern boundary of the state of Pennsylvania. People will get into the map, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, so I'm just not like talking Greek. And the first line running east and west shall begin at the same point and shall extend throughout the whole territory, provided that nothing herein shall be construed as fixing the western boundary of the state of Pennsylvania. The geographer should designate the townships or fractional parts of townships by numbers progressively from north to south, always beginning each range with the number 1, and the ranges shall be distinguished by their progressive numbers to the westward. So what that means is this. They set the townships up this way. This will be 1, this will be 2, that will be 3, this will be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 will start this way, and so forth and so on. That's how they set them up. That's the way the townships were set up. 1 would be here, 2 next, 3, so they would go northward, and then progressively going westward, and going the same way. So when you go places like New Jersey, for instance, it seems like when you're traveling in New Jersey, like every so many blocks, you're in a different township. Even when you get out into the county, out in Pennsylvania or other places, it seems like when you're outside of the city, you're changing townships like every so many feet. It's because it was set up that way. The first range extended from the Ohio to the Lake Erie, being marked number 1, which would be that number right there. The geographer shall personally attend to the running of the first east and west line, and shall take the latitude of the extremes of the first north and south line, and the miles of the principal rivers. Those principal rivers that he's talking about would be the Ohio River, and it's one other. I don't have it written down. It's one other. Maybe it's in the document. I can get it. The line shall be measured with the chain, shall be plainly marked by chaps on the trees, and exactly described on a plat. A plat or a plot. Y'all, when y'all reading these documents, even the definitions that I handed out, you'll see on there it's a word that says muscleman. One says muscleman and one says muscleman. That's the same word. You got to look at the word and understand that it's just the shifting of the vowels. It's called umlaut. It's just the shifting of the vowels. It's the same word, means the absolute same thing. They just spelled it different. The only difference are the vowels. So a plot just being a small piece of land. Same thing, plot. The line shall be measured with the chain, shall be plainly marked by chaps on the trees and exactly described on a plat, whereon shall be noted by the surveyor at their proper distances all mines, salt springs, salt licks, and mill seats that shall come to his knowledge, and all water courses, mountains, and other remarkable and permanent things over or near which shall line shall pass, and also the quality of the lands. Now, hearing about the mines and the water and stuff that's going through there, when they say the quality of the lands, what y'all think they're talking about? If they got salt mines, and they say nothing about no gold, or nothing like that, but if they got salt mines and the water is plentiful.
Atlantic City.
What's that?
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City. Somebody said Atlantic City? Nah, we're not talking about Atlantic City.
Salt water.
Right. Now, we're talking about the lands in the west, in the Ohio Valley. So if they have salt mines and they have plenty of water, and he actually said other remarkable and permanent things over or near which the line shall pass, and also the quality of the lands. People. Not the people. What's so important about the Nile Valley?
The water. The river. Water. It's,
What about the land?
fertile.
What about
fertility? Yeah.
Talk to me.
It's fertile.
The fertility of the land. So if they have those salt mines out there and there's plenty of water, you know what they already think of. That's all they ever think about. Other remarkable things, like what? You've seen trees before. You've seen mountains before. So what other remarkable things? You gotta look at this stuff. There's little stuff like that. They write down everything. And it needs to be examined. Because if you don't see something like that and say other remarkable and permanent things, well, like what?
Everything. Pressing places and things.
All they ever think about is finance, feet, how they can get more. So if they see remarkable things, you're right, they could be talking about the animals. They could be thinking like, man, you need a new coat. You hungry? The animals ain't gonna be permanent, which we already know they wasn't. We already know how they slaughtered them off. The plots of the township, respectively, shall be marked by subdivisions, each square being a subdivision, into lots of 1 square mile or 640 acres, in the same direction as the external lines, and numbered from 1 to 36, always beginning the succeeding range of the lots with the number next to that which the preceding one concluded. So that's just saying 1, non-stop right there, the next one will start at 10. And where from the causes before mentioned, only a fractional part of a township shall be surveyed, the lots protracted in this sense meaning delayed, thereon shall bear the same numbers as if the township had been entire. And the surveys and running the external lines of the township shall at the interval of every mile mark corners for the lots which are adjacent, always designating the same in a different manner from those of the townships. The geographers and surveyors shall pay the utmost attention to the variation of the magnetic needle and shall run the note, excuse me, and shall run and note all lines by the true meridian, certifying with every plat what was the variation at the times of running the lines thereon noted. Excuse me. They didn't want to make no mistakes. They wanted to make sure all of this stuff was perfect. All of the townships were perfect. All of the lines were perfect. And it wasn't for you, it was for them. They started squaring out your land in this little teeny bit of space right here. I don't have the color one, I think I passed it out. They started squaring out your space right there. And that small piece of Ohio, that small teeny piece of Ohio, and look what happened. From 1785 to 214, they got everything. They got everything. The whole of North America. And they have you believing that the top of North America is somewhere different. James, let me ask you a question if you realize this. You remember last week was the National DOT check.
Right,
June 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
right.
So for commercial vehicles, every first week of June, for 72 hours consecutive, they have policy enforcers stopping trucks to check trucks. They call them safety inspections. They check the brakes, they check the lights, they check all this other stuff. Although they're safety inspections, you can be ran up to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of fines in an hour's time. If they pull you over and you don't have registration for your truck, it's $2,500. And they're gonna tow. It's gonna be another $2,500. And they're gonna put it in storage if you don't have the first $5,000 to get it out. A reason for bringing that up was this. I don't know if you saw this, but they call it the North American Safety Inspection.
What did that?
The North American Safety Inspection, including Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And they got y'all believing that it's somewhere different. It didn't say the American, although it's all America, it said the North America. What the hell Canada or Mexico got to do with anything that goes on here?
Nothing.
Why are they checking trucks up there as well as in Mexico?
Border.
Hmm?
Border.
It's no border. It's an imaginary line.
Right.
I just put that out there just because I want you all to see. We ain't talking about nowhere different. They started small. They started small. And now look where we at. They got everything. As soon as 7 ranges of townships and fractional parts of townships in the direction from south to north have been surveyed. Of course, we remember that's from south to north. They surveyed the land. The geographer shall transmit plats thereof to the board of the treasury, who shall record the same with the report, and well-bound books to be kept for that purpose. Now, we all know that. They keep everything. They write down everything. And the geographer shall make similar returns from time to time, every 7 ranges, as they may be surveyed. The secretary at war shall have resource thereto, and shall take by lot therefrom a number of townships and fractional parts of townships, as well as those to be sold entire, as from those to be sold in lots, as will be the equal to 1/7 part of the whole of 7 ranges, as nearly as may be for the use of the late Continental Army. So what they're telling you is out of every 7 plots, they're going to take 1 for soldiers from the late Continental Army. So you see, even back then, they were setting up. Because if they're gonna put all the soldiers from the army down here, they don't have to do much to go get them. They can just sound the alarm, and they tool up to come and get you. And shall make a similar drought in this sense meaning draft, from time to time until a sufficient quantity is drawn to satisfy the same. So if they don't have enough soldiers from the Continental Army, they're going to draft some. And they're going to set them up right here. So when they go to call them, they can call them.
Excuse me,
Now,
what do you mean by continental? Continental Army? Huh?
the Continental Army, you know the Continental Congress.
Continental Congress? Oh,
Con-
it's Continental, I think somewhere else other than here.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, North America's a continent, but the Continental Army was the soldiers for the Continental Congress that fought their wars.
So even now, it's like that, right?
Well-
What you just said?
Well, the Continental Congress is no more. The Republic was enacted with the Constitution, and then they went and overthrew that, and now we got a democracy. So now instead of the Continental Army, we got the United States Army, well, forgive me, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Marines, and all the rest of their goons, in place of that Continental Army. Now the only difference is, instead of them being right here in 1/7 of the land, they're everywhere.
Okay.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Y'all follow me? Yeah, they're everywhere. Even now, don't get it twisted. Don't think that the people out here riding around in these preload police cars ain't part of the military. Because if you read the King Alpha plan, you read the King Alpha plan, then you know what time it is. They are all part of the military. They just localized military. They're not going to take them and send them to Germany or send them to Korea, nothing like that.
So these armories they have throughout the city, because they do have them,
Mm-hmm.
that's all, they're all part of the service, or,
You mean like the reserve, like with the reserve guys and stuff like that?
I don't know, are they reserved? I mean, there's one in Center City, an armory.
You mean even like the armory up the boulevard?
I would imagine.
Yeah, well, it's the armory up the boulevard. I honestly, I don't
So they're
know.
spread throughout the city?
They're spread
these
throughout the
armories?
city. I don't know what they do with those armories. They could be just keeping them for holding cells. Because if they're doing that King Alfred, or they do attempt to declare
They would
martial
have
law.
soldiers in these armories, right? Connected
No,
with
they're
the
not
government,
soldiers.
Not necessarily, I don't know, when I hear the word
Part-timers?
armory.
reservists, yeah.
Okay, so,
Reservists?
yeah, well, he's military, so he knows,
Okay,
they got reservists.
that's what I kinda wondered.
Yeah, so I mean, they keep an eye and keeping track of everything.
Right, that's also what I'm saying.
But if they did just happen to end that King Alfred, they call in local police, the county police, and the state police, and they all gonna be on the same level as the military. They already have the same weapons. In fact, James just sent me a picture 2 weeks ago from out in, were you in downtown or Route 30 somewhere?
Lancaster.
They riding around in tanks,
Yep.
tooled up with their damn weapons on top of the tanks, and they just cool us. Riding through the street.
They ain't supposed to be, but they
What?
passed that law.
You sure you might, that's all.
To show you they might.
You sure you might.
So you figure in this little piece of land right here, and in that territory, if they had everybody tooled up right there, then they still showing they ain't, they showing you they might. They letting you know, and it should say right here, and he shall make a similar drought or draft from time to time until a sufficient quantity is grown to satisfy the same, to be applied in a manner hereinafter directed. They was tooling up back then, they tooled up now. They got, if you go down, I probably, well, hell with it, I'll expose it. Y'all know where the Sugar House Casino is?
Right.
Just reminds me.
If you're standing in front of the Sugar House Casino, looking at Frankfurt Ave, there's a building across the street. It just look like an abandoned center block building. That's the FBI. How I know? Because I deliver cars there. It look like an abandoned building. Walk up there and look at the buildings across the street and see all the damn cameras pointing at that building. Not on that building is bad. But when I go down the street and I take the cars off my trailer and they open up the gate, they got a damn battering ram with tires taller than me.
Then, but they do that.
They got an armored vehicle with tires that are taller than I am. Hey man, you ain't gonna tell nobody about this issue. No.
They do.
Must be crazy.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
That's
The FBI, right downtown.
right downtown. Yeah.
They got all these armored vehicles. Now, the Criminal Justice Center, right there at Filbert, what's that, 1301 Filbert? So the CJC right there, on 13th Street, close to the corner, it's a garage door. If that garage door is open, ever open when you're riding by or just happen to be walking by, look inside. See the tools they got in there. They got their MBAT in there. Y'all know what the MBAT is?
No.
They got a Humvee. They got a Humvee with a machine on the top of it. Vaporization. So all they got to do, if I'm on the MBAT, all I got to do is point it, just like that, and it's going to cook each one of y'all from the inside out.
Microwave,
It's a microwave technique,
Oh, yeah, I remember
and they say no, it's only used
watching them going down
to
the
disable people.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Well, a pistol can be used to disable people, but the police don't never disable nobody.
Taser can be.
They just kill them.
road. It's getting ready to collapse.
They just kill them. I'm not the best shot in the world, but I can shoot. I can stand here and where James is shooting, I can hit him in his leg without a problem.
Right.
And I'm supposed to be a trained policy enforcer. And the only place I can find to shoot him is in his chest or in his forehead. So I'm not going to believe that your MBAT is just to say, oh, all right, I'm gonna cool out.
Disable somebody.
No, it's not to disable nobody. It's to kill.
Kill them. Big run.
It's to kill. Let's way back to 1785.
Right.
The Board of Treasury shall transmit a copy of the original plats, all of the original plots of land. Previously noted thereon, the townships and fractional parts of townships which shall have fallen to the several states by the distribution aforesaid. Now it says fallen to the aforesaid states. How they gonna fall? How does land just fall to anybody?
Yeah, to give them more energy.
It don't. I take it. That's how it falls. I take it. They took it. Y'all remember last week, Rajbek, people was on a trip, was talking about the Lenny Lenape and how the numbers dwindled. He at one point said that the Lenny Lenape was about 20 to 40,000, and then they dwindled somewhere down to about 4,000 by the time they were sent to the west. Y'all know how that happened.
This
Well,
time,
the
the
diseases and
candy
stuff,
bar.
the
Not only-
Mexican and whatnot.
Not only that. Anybody?
Yeah, that's the most embarrassing thing I know, but.
The Lenape were who? Moors. The Iroquois were who?
More.
The Iroquois were in New York. Lily Lenape and what's called today Pennsylvania and Delaware and New Jersey.
But you know, we've been through a lot with that area.
If y'all been studying or if y'all been paying attention to Taj and to other stuff, then you know that it wasn't the Europeans that came in here and kicked our asses. It was us kicking our own asses. The New York and the Iroquois helped to trash each other. And then the European did what? Said, cool. Let's go on in. Let's go on in. That's why we got to study. That's why we got to do a little bit of reading. Watch a couple videos. What's that? That's what we do. I mean, you figure like this. You figure like this. Y'all remember last year? Y'all remember last year when that Puerto Rican Day parade, when that policy enforcer got hit with the bottle of water? He ain't smacking. He ain't smacking. Yeah, he's dressing. Now,
I mean, I was telling people there told me that.
Wasn't Asiatic?
I would look at them and smile.
yeah. What's the Moorish brother? James. It was Moorish brother that hit her. Now, what troubles me is this. If it was me that hit her, they'd have trashed me. It was way more laws out there than it was policy enforcers. If I had punched her, they'd have trashed me. Well, I just sat here a month ago, did the class with y'all, and told y'all that even if the policy enforcer unlawfully attempts to arrest you or unlawfully puts his hands on you, you got the right to do what?
Defend yourself.
Defend yourself. So when he knocks out my wife, or he knocks out my sister,
He's up.
now the problem is, they're gonna pull their guns. Well, you telling me all them was out there with no guns?
Disarm you, that's all.
You telling me all them was out there no? If you a tough guy, don't be tough sometimes. Malcolm X said if you're gonna go to jail for something worth going for. If you're gonna die for something worth dying for. If any of y'all, and I got love for all y'all, touch her, I dare you. I dare you. And I mean it. And I can look in the mirror and say that, and I can look in all y'all eyes and say, touch her. That's my aunt sitting right there, touch her. If I got to die, but at least he gonna know, I ain't gonna put my hands on nobody else. I don't know how we got there. Supposed to be reading this. But understand what I'm saying, y'all. Understand what I'm saying. Although they think that they are the authority, because they're not. Once you start to understand true law, you're going to know that they're nothing but hired security guards. They're hired security guards. That's it. That's all the policy enforcers are. Study and understand this law. When we can as a unit start to really study and understand this law, who got a ticket? Come on, all of us go. Let's go. You wrote that ticket? That's how they should be. That's how they should be. Who got a ticket? We should get on the floor. All right, come on. Where you gotta go? Come on, let's go.
All right. Not just some of us, all.
Exactly. Everybody else does. Listen, I was coming from work a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna put this down for a minute. I'm gonna talk. I was coming from work a couple weeks ago. I get on the side of City Hall. So City Hall's to my left, right? So I see all these people out there. And I see the news vans and I see all this other stuff. So I got on the phone, I called my cousin, I said, cuz, what's going on? He said, what you mean? I said, news vans, everybody at City Hall, all these people was cracking. Now, as I said that to him, I looked over there, and what they did was this. Now, pay attention, because they do this periodically. Over there, there's a statue of some European on a horse. Behind it is the Star Spangled Banner. To the left of the Star Spangled Banner is the banner for the city of Philadelphia. They took that banner down and put up a rainbow color. They took down the city's banner
They can do
and
that.
raised a homosexual man. I gotta be careful. Rod's got on me for saying stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta be careful because Rod's got on me before. So they took that banner down and they raised that one. This was the day that they decided to let the homosexuals get married in the city of Philadelphia. Right? How is it that other human beings can come together for a cause like that and make so much happen? We can't. And well, I mean, it's not just in my eyes and yours. It is to them. It's not just in my eyes because man and man, ain't no that don't work for me. But the point that I'm making is that they can come together. But all you gotta do, if right now I say faggot, and somebody in there is offended, and they get on the phone, it'll be 60 more faggots coming through the door in an hour's time. All because I say faggot.
What's your diction? Drop them outside. They'll never make it through the door.
Just simply because I say faggot.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Right?
I
I see. Well, come on, so much. And the thing is this, for us, it's lawful. Not legal. Legal being colorful. Legal being feudal. For us, it's lawful. Lawful being true. It's odious. For us, it's lawful. But we not willing to stand up for anything. Not even for each other. The things that go through my mind, I can't even speak. Because some of y'all would think I'm crazy. Probably most of y'all would think I was crazy.
No.
And then some of y'all be like, let's go. Let's go. Because I got some thoughts in my head that's just crazy. That's just because I see stuff. And we don't react. How is it that they can, I mean, come on, man. Listen, they said, now, right here in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, they say that the United States is not grounded in the Christian religion. It says that in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. That's law. That's law. But they tell you what, that this is a Christian nation. Now, if this is a Christian nation and you want to be lawful, how are you marrying two men? Somebody turn that ring on, please. How can you marry two men? They can sit there and throw hissy fits, wave their flags, and get things done. This flag right here is waving right down there at 22nd and Benjamin Franklin Parkway. And who knows what it is? It just says Morocco. Who knows what it is? This is the Moroccan Empire. We stand in Morocco. This is your flag. The Star Spangled Banner is just that. The Star Spangled Banner. Banner represents a corporation. Flag represents a nation. It's not.
So then, therefore, if homosexuals have a flag now, and now they're getting their own neighborhoods and things, would you say that they're getting political recognition?
They get political recognition. Right, it's a banner. But they get political recognition just because of what you just said. Because they have become a state. Because they have become a nation state. Now, I done said it 1,000 times. Somebody tell me what a state is. Group of people with common interests, like thinking, same ideals. Well, that's them. So now they got themselves a little rainbow colors. They got stickers to put on the back of the cars. They got everything. Even the street signs. And this is the thing, y'all. This is the thing, y'all. Go to the different cities. It's the same. I was all the way up in Toronto. And down in their area, they got rainbows on the street signs. Just like downtown. When we gonna get some of these on the street signs? When we gonna get some of these? Y'all scared? Now I'm asking y'all. Somebody respond. Y'all scared?
No.
If you're scared, look, if you're scared, just say you're scared. And it's cool. We'll leave you back there. Because I ain't scared. I ain't scared. I know one day I got to go. Somebody gonna know about me though. Somebody gonna have some ribs bruised or something. Somebody gonna know that I was there before I go. I ain't just up here popping off. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm holding on to this for a little while.
Foundation, man.
Huh?
It's you. It's your nation.
Yeah, right. I got 3 of them. I forgot. But I mean, hey, listen, man.
Yeah.
Listen. I talked to J.W. Bey the other day, and y'all forgive me for getting away from the lane. But sometimes, you know, ancestors, they come through me. And my soul says, look, talk to them. It's your family, talk to them. I talked to J.W. Bey the other day, and I told him about something that one of my teachers, Mfundishi Jehuti Mas from Harlem, told me about. His father's homeland is Tanzania. His mother is a native Moorish. She's from Georgia. Him and a few other people that he were in a group with had something called a susu. And what the susu is this. If you took Jalil, SetenRa, Rick, Sharif, Mike, JW, Jocko, and myself, we can form a susu, right? So what the susu will be is this. Each week, or every other week, when we had class, whenever, we would put some funds into the susu. And we will continue to put funds into the susu. The susu will be used for what it needs to be used for. Not for us to just go out and say, all right, we're going to go to Miami and we're going to have a good time. No. We got the brother sitting in the back there, always hiding. Nabu Maluk Il, sitting in the back hiding like he always do. This brother's back there making all kinds of beautiful jewelry. In fact, I'm wearing one of his pieces. I got another piece on that he made for me. This piece that he made for me, 7 pyramids. In between each copper ball, 7 pieces of amethyst. If you know the science behind that, then you know what I'm wearing. 13 steps on the pyramid. And my name and my due measure on the bottom pyramid, SetenRa. If you know your science, then you know what I'm wearing. Now, let's just say he was also a part of the susu. And after like 3 months, we say, you know what? We're going to take the funds from the susu, get him established, because he's taking off with that jewelry.
Right.
Now, we blow a lot of fiat all the time. I spend a lot of fiat going on vacation. I can stay home and put something in the pot. And it's not. I can stay home and put something in the pot for the betterment of what? Our nation. Or I can just keep going on trips and say the hell with the Boo Ed's jewelry. Or we can continue to put that fiat in the pot. We can go claim a piece of land that's got a nice building on it, and with the fiat that was in the susu. We can say, all right, cool, we can do this. Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Right.
How we gonna listen? If we gonna keep talking about nation building, let's figure out how to do it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's make it happen. Real talk. Real talk. Brother, right there, he might be great at doing t-shirts. He might be able to make these shirts for us.
Right.
Other shirts. Let's get him going. Let's take the cash from the susu and let's get him the machines he needs. He take the fiat, do what he need to do, put some back into the pot. When he gets established, the fiat that he got to get started, he put back into the susu pot. It's not for us to get individually wealthy,
Come together.
but if all of us start doing what it is that we're great at, and we helping each other do it.
Create leverage.
Just a spin-off on that. It was something that happened, I believe it was about 10 years ago. They started, it was a water shortage in Georgia. And they said that they weren't going to allow the people to wash their cars a certain time and water the grass a certain time and so forth. But the thing was, they had the water police. Now, these water police, they had uniforms, they had cars, they had everything. But they just came and said this law was in effect. But where did they get all the cars, the uniforms, and everything to go around and enforce all this mess? Quietly. All of a sudden, it was there. So, I say that to say this. We could quietly do whatever we want to do. Quiet. And when things come, we're there. You can't be, you know, beating the drum, let them know we're coming. You know, before they know, we just be there. Yeah, we just be there.
If we did that, it only gonna cause a trickle down effect. They gonna say, dang, they did it. Let's do that too. Let's do that too. Let's do that too. Imagine if we had a building big enough to have in the booth selling jewelry. Bro, I just made you sell T-shirts. I don't know what you're doing. But if the brother was selling T-shirts, if she had a restaurant, if we had the whole third floor for each one of y'all who got children who needed education, if we had the second floor for us to hold classes and hold meetings.
Self-defense training and anything.
Self-defense training, my man.
Oh, yeah,
Say something. Susus are done not by Americans so much, by people from the Caribbean and people from Africa. A lot of the sisters in Africa, in order to have their goods, make sure they sell their goods, they have major susus. And susus are really something that can help you a lot, because actually what you get is a lump sum of money in your hand. And you know, once you get a lump sum of money, you want to be able to know what you did with your money, because you have a sizable amount and you can do something that you can actually see done with that money. And I really do think that people in America need to do that. It helps everybody. But everybody got to, even the Asians, they do it here.
Everybody does. Everybody does. When I heard the numbers, the fiat that was spent over the Christmas holiday was in the billions. Was in the billions. I hadn't bought anybody a Christmas gift in probably 10, 12 years. Might be longer than that. Because I remember one Christmas, I'm running around and I'm trying to make sure I can bring something. I gotta get Stay Right something. I gotta get y'all something. I gotta Miss Phyllis something. Sister Mary. I gotta get everybody something. I'm spending all this fiat. And you know, I'm gonna tell y'all what changed my mind. Little old Michael Jackson. Little old Michael Jackson. How? Give love on Christmas Day. I'm like, why the hell I'm spending all my fiat? If you, that's mine. If you ain't happy to see me on Christmas when I come over, then I don't know what to tell you. So if we pulled all of that, we even had to ask them for nothing. No schooling, no college for people who want to go, no nothing.
Between the Moors and I guess the Negro black colonies, as you want to call them, we spend $1 trillion a year giving it to them, and that's how they fund their wars on our backs. $1 trillion a year.
Trillion a year.
And most of it's heresy.
Trillion a year.
$1 trillion.
Any of y'all watch boxing today?
Yeah.
So they showed Mayweather before the last fight, right? So Mayweather lives out in Vegas. Of course, he's a little wealthy. He got some fiat. He was at the car dealership where they sold all the Ferraris and all the Bentleys and all this other stuff. And he out there, and he out there, I'm bold. So the guy that works at the dealership says, this right here, the champ is our best customer. Said to date, now Mayweather has only been fighting pro since 1996. To date, that man has bought 88 cars from that one dealership. 88 cars. That day, he bought a Ferrari and another Bentley. 90 cars. Right? Now, those cars don't come cheap.
No.
The man has 2 Bugattis, they cost 1.6 million notes apiece. He bought 2 of them. He said, I got a white one. I like the red one. I'm getting that too. And then he did a radio interview where he said to the sister, what the hell I want to give my money to Africa for? What has Africa done for me? I ain't giving them nothing. Flat out. Now, if I felt that way, I wouldn't tell you that.
No.
I wouldn't tell none of y'all that. Because you pay to watch me fight.
Right. Right.
That's what he just said. Doing stuff quietly. If you're going to do something stupid
Yeah.
or think something stupid like that, don't say it. Keep it to yourself. Now, just imagine those 90 cars that he bought. Each of them, let's just say, I don't think you can get a Ferrari for less than 100,000 notes, right? So he even bought 90 cars. Just him alone, just the fiat that he spent alone, he could have built schools.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could have built communities. What's the guy? Bon Jovi.
Right.
Bon Jovi went to Katrina and built over 100 houses.
Yeah.
That's, I'll be honest, that's a European man. What did the prophet say? What did the prophet say?
Last month, they started some
He said-
apartments.
He said that the Europeans are helping me. How come you're not?
That's what I'm looking for. If the Europeans will help me, why won't you?
That's your
Bon Jovi went down there and built 100 homes. That don't come cheap. 100 houses. And you got the champ saying, why would I help?
Yeah.
I'm not giving nothing to charity. If I'm gonna blow some cash, I'd rather blow it on myself. With those type of mentalities is why we are.
That's right.
We watched that fight though, don't we?
I can promise you this.
I
I didn't want to watch the last
I
one,
didn't pay for it.
but I can promise you,
Somebody
I
paid
will
for it.
never watch it. I will never pay to see him fight.
You should not, when somebody say that.
I will never pay to see him.
Give him his blackness. He was all about that.
SetenRa, what you now said about him saying that he won't spend the money in Africa, right?
On Africa, yeah.
What I not thought about the thing that Donald Sterling said about magic, right? He said magic ain't done nothing for black people. He said, but he wasn't attacking the magic. He was attacking black people in general who got money,
Right.
like the fighter,
Like the Joker.
right? Who said stuff like that, right? Don't do nothing for black people. That's who he was attacking, all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all think that was a personal attack on Magic, y'all crazy.
Yeah.
That's a personal attack on you.
Yes.
That's right.
On you. People got season tickets to those games. We don't have no schools. We get right now, we could go get a container, a trailer, for like 2,500 notes. And we could put a school in it. If it was for 10 children. We could put a school in it. If it was just 10 children. 2,500 notes, we can get a plot of land, a plat. Just like in the land ordinance. And we can put a school there for 10 children. And maybe next year, we can get 2 more. Now we got 3. That's what Imhotep Charter School did over there in West Oakland. They started out with trailers, a couple trailers. Now they got a big old beautiful building, and they have the natural law conference there every year. We can't just think. Let's start here, then get here, and then from 1 and 2, we get 3, and then from 2 and 3, we get 5, and then from 5, you know what I'm saying? And that ain't no Fibonacci sequence that I was just talking about neither. That's your ancient culture. That comes from the golden spiral. Ain't got nothing to do with no European called Fibonacci. That's 1 plus 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. That's your science. That's your culture. All you got to do is go back to Kemet, and you'll see that everything was proportioned. Even your hand is proportioned. The statues are proportioned out there. Proportioned to that. Got nothing to do with some European guy called Fibonacci.
I'm asking you, I don't know some, but I'm asking, those who have that mentality, whether they make it public or not, because they make a statement like that, have a tendency, and I'm asking, have a tendency not to know how to manage large finance anyway, and quite a few of them have a tendency when they transition penniless. Because they don't understand that, to say that is meaning that they don't understand inheritance also. Then, of course, management loves that because they find a way to make sure that they get all before they reach that land.
Right, that's right.
Even his buddy, he said that he was gonna end up paying this. And that was his buddy.
But, I need to say one more thing. Are you familiar with this young man's background? Where he come from? I hate to say, he don't come from nowhere, right? So what do you expect?
I mean, I understand when you say that, but you can look at a lot of people who came from that same background.
So he's the one that didn't.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean,
That's
to
real,
each his
that's
own.
like the ignorant of the ignorant to say something like that.
Absolutely. And to say it publicly.
Yeah.
For the world to
Makes it
hear.
worse.
Yeah. For him to be in a position that he's in, where people spend a lot of cash
Just come see him fight.
just to come see him fight. And him to say, why would I help you?
But he doesn't understand, he's helping those people at that car dealership.
For the wrong reasons. He's doing something for the wrong reasons.
That just shows his level of thinking.
To the
Right?
max.
Absolutely, to buy 90 vehicles.
And he can't figure that out? That's scary.
Brains to knock somebody out now, bro. You don't need a whole lot of brains to knock somebody out.
I won't say that. I won't say that because
I'm
well, no,
gonna say that because people fall all the time and knock themselves out unintentionally, right?
you're right.
I'm saying we all have a social responsibility to ourselves. We come from a culture where that conversation, that's like foreign to us because we were in the 70s and the 80s, we had a sense of unity where it's like, okay, well, like you said earlier, if you're not going to say that, if you're going to think that, that don't mean that you got to say it, right? And that's due respect. We're talking about someone who has the capacity to knock somebody out, and pugilism makes money. Advertisement and commercial corruption makes money. The truth don't make no money. So they wouldn't have put him on the air if he'd have said, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm sorry, I forgot all about Africa. You kidding me? I forgot all about my blood. I forgot all about that picture of my face that I saw in the mirror before I went to go knock somebody out. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, you're true. I mean, you're right, because if he was out there saying, all right, I'm gonna go out here and get some water popping, get him some herbs, we ain't gonna take him no medicine, we ain't gonna take him some herbs. If he said that, you're right, they probably would sign it. But in a position that he's in, you don't say nothing like that. Because if people had any sense, he would not make another dime.
Cut him off at the knee.
He would not make another dime. It ain't like he got the best fights in the world in the first place.
Respectfully, he would not make another dime off of who, brother?
He shouldn't make another dime off of us.
Okay, now, we're talking about chattel property here. He don't have to make another dime off of us. He'll still be making more money.
He'll still be. You're right. He will.
With that.
He will. But this goes back to what I said 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
This goes back to us
Right. Exactly.
doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I ain't care what nobody else do.
Right.
I only care about what we do. And it don't go to say that I hate these. I don't hate anybody.
True.
But I'm concerned with you. I ain't concerned with them. They're all right right now. So if they do still go, which they will, because they like the show, what better to put two monkeys in the ring and let them fight?
Right.
They like the show. But if we finally says, you know what, we gonna stand up for something. We don't stand for nothing. That's why we fall for everything. That's why they look. Listen, whichever any of y'all that got mad at that Sterling dude for saying what he said, you crazy. That's like walking past a dog, or walking past a pound, and you mad because the dog's in there barking.
Right.
That's what they do.
Exactly.
You mad because he said don't bring no niggas to my game.
You know, this is a game of no how.
Hey, let me help y'all out. Don't go. But you know, well, don't go. The whole LA Clippers team, the whole team should have said, I ain't playing. They ain't win championship anyway.
Right. Right.
They ain't win championship. They didn't even win that series.
And it's semi-final. Right.
Should have just stopped playing.
But they did
They
it.
protest silently, the rivers.
No,
that wasn't enough.
listen, you
That
can't
wasn't
protest
enough.
silently.
Yeah, that wasn't enough.
You can't protest silently because if don't nobody hear it, then it ain't no
Right.
protest.
Right.
So what's a silent protest mean to anybody?
I guess they thought visual is still.
No. Listen,
Spoken words better than-
if the blow is not felt, look, if I say I'm gonna slap you, she just gonna look at me.
Right.
But if I slap her,
Till you do, yeah.
but if I slap her, then she know.
There you go.
Right.
I don't be slapping her, so y'all.
Yeah, you might pay for that thing on, bro.
The point that I'm making is this, even talking about the unity of the homosexuals, the unity of everything else, we have no cohesiveness, we have no unity. We gotta build it. I see y'all faces every couple of weeks. Some of y'all I seen last week. I talk to y'all, some people I talk to almost every day. What we gonna do?
The building blocks of unity. If you don't have unity between the Virgin and her Son, which is the core of existence, because evolution story says male and female were here before man. The creation story says male and female were here before man. If you don't have the unity of the Virgin and her Son, how are you going to have unity anywhere else?
Clear. Clear.
Silence. Unity. We gotta be willing to sacrifice, and personal sacrifice a little bit of your time to open up those books. Sacrifice a little bit of your time. I told, well, Delilah left. She had somewhere to go. I told Delilah next month in August, I'm gonna be on Easy Street. I'm going out. Just from June. And the day is what, the 14th? I ain't had a day off, and I don't know when. Whether I'm working, driving my truck, getting my second truck on the road, whether I'm helping somebody else, whether I'm in the house, whether I'm studying, whether I'm doing all this stuff to put class together, whether I'm doing something. I haven't had a day off. And I don't know when. Even when I go on vacation, I'm reading and studying. I'm tired. But I'm here. And I'm happy to be here. And I'm gonna be back. I ain't putting myself between my legs and running. I'm telling y'all real talk, I ain't had a day off. We went on vacation Memorial Day weekend, and we went to Niagara Falls. And I made it a point, because I'm only an hour and a half away, to go see Cujo and hang out with the Canaanite Moors. And although I'm not physically working, physically picking up any bricks, we sit in that building talking about what we can do. How is it I can go way up there, and I'm building with people way up there, and we ain't doing nothing? I probably got about 30 phone numbers for people in Canada. All these different modes. What y'all want to do? Y'all want to just not pay taxes? I'm being sincere. I'm sincerely asking y'all what y'all want to do.
Schools, now we need a school. That's what we need.
Education is very
We need a school.
important.
Direction on education.
Education.
Everybody's saying schools, right?
Paper together.
So, in order for us to get schools for them, I mean, we got to open up the damn books first.
Clear.
School.
I mean, we got to open up the books first. I said, hey man, look at this paper. It's all marked up, highlighted. That's how my books and stuff look, yo. That's how my books and stuff look. A couple weeks ago, the sister said, why don't we have classes about this? Why don't we have classes about that? She said, I know how to align the chakras. Y'all remember what I said to her? Yeah, come on up here.
Yeah.
Because I ain't the only person who can hold this microphone. I don't run this class. I'm just conducting. if J.W. Bey wanted to come up, if Ms. Rain wanted to come up, Raj wanted to come up, any of y'all want to come up, you got something to teach, or you got something to share, come share it. If you found out about something that we should all know about, then share it. If you're afraid to stand up there, then tell me, and I'll tell everybody. But it can't be a one-way street. I told y'all before, when I do these classes, I like interactive classes. I like to talk with y'all talk back. I don't want to just stand there in a monotone voice and say, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship says that Europeans got permission from us. No, I don't want to do that. I want to laugh and joke with y'all. At the same time, we build, we learn, we get in life. We got work to do, y'all. We got work to do. This ain't about just not paying tickets and not paying taxes and all that stuff. We got to know why. We got to be able to flat out tell people why. When I talked about the prophet earlier, we should be able to tell people, each one of y'all should be able to say what I said earlier. Each one of y'all should know why you should be grateful that that man was born. Do you owe your nationality to him or to the temple? No. It's yours, it's your birthright. Or do you owe him hell of respect and hell of honor? Hell yeah. Because if he's not born, who tells us? Who? All of them people that you know about from school. Ain't none of them tell us. Right here, JW gave me this paper earlier. I was supposed to read this to y'all. Is this all right? Let me have it right now. I think all of y'all have this copy.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a copy of it. Here it is.
It says Dr. Umar Johnson, FD, MG, RBG. So FD is Frederick Douglass, MG is Marcus Garvey, RBG is red, black, and green. Now I didn't read the article, but from what J.W. Bey was telling me, he's opening schools. Or he's in the process of getting funding to open up schools. Now, we pat him on the back for that. I'm happy that he's going to open up the schools. But Umar ain't no fool. Umar, there's pictures of Umar in the temple with brothers that's fessed up, that have their garb on. So what'd that tell you? He knows. He knows. But FD, MG, RBG. What about nationality? Why we Frederick Douglass did what he did. Marcus Garvey did what he did. So forgive me for not reading, but that's why I didn't read it. Y'all can read it on your own. I'm serious. I mean, when I told me he was making copies, I was happy you made copies, because I didn't want to read it. Frederick Douglass is his ancestor, bloodline ancestor. So that's why he's bigging up Frederick Douglass. That's his great uncle or something like that. But Frederick Douglass sat right up there in Massachusetts, just like this. Now, he went out of his way to beat the hell out of the slave driver that was beating him. If y'all know the story, Frederick Douglass was sent to get beat. And he beat the hell out of the dude that was going to beat him. Y'all don't put your hands on me, man. And then he broke out of slavery. What did he do to get anybody else out? So while we honor him as one of the greatest so-called black men, for what? Now I'm being serious. Now if y'all don't know, go look it up. What the hell did he do? Marcus Garvey brought together millions of people. UNIA. They had enterprise going, they had ships, they had all kinds of stuff going. What year was that?
So in the 20s. 20s, 30s.
That's almost 100 years ago.
Yeah.
We don't have no cruise lines.
Right.
We don't have no factories. We don't have any supermarkets. How he do it in the 20s, and we can't do it now? Mike, going on? How he do it back then, and we not doing it now? Now, even Prophet Noble Ali had plenty of finance. Moorish Science Temple of America, they had finance. They had schools. They had enterprise. But they don't teach us about him because he told you about your nationality. Because he told you that you was a Negro, colored, black, or Ethiopian. He told you that. And he erected places for you to come and learn. So you can teach your descendants. But just like the European road, all you got to do is go a couple little trinkets their way. And we can get them to go left. They won't do right. They'll go left. You got yourself a nice car. You got yourself all this old cute stuff. But the people down the street don't have electricity. That a selfish man is a no good man. A selfish man is a no good man. A lazy man is a no good man. If you're not willing to do your due diligence, and you're not willing to open up some books, and you're not willing to reach back and help the next brother, to help the next sister, to go lift up somebody else's children whose father may not be in their life, then you no good as well. When you got somebody who you can study, who you can research, along with all the other brothers, and see the righteousness, and see him trying to uplift fallen humanity, because that's what we are. Right. That's what we are, fallen humanity. Fallen humanity. We should start saying fallen womanity because of the state that we allow our women to walk around in. Right. You listen to a speech. Everybody know how to get on the internet. Listen to a speech. Malcolm X called "Get That White Man's Claws Off Your Women." One of the most fiery speeches I ever heard in my life. Malcolm X said, "You straighten her out first, and then you deal with that white man." That was his exact words. We need to get our young brothers to pull their pants up, and we need to get our sisters to put some on. I don't have no beef with my man starting no school. But the school is going to be incomplete without teaching the truth about our nationality and our birthright. It's simple. I know he said he's going to teach political science. He said he's going to teach math. He said he's going to teach all of this stuff, agricultural, all of it, and that's fine, that's great. But what about nationality? Islam.
I just wanted to add on what you're saying as far as people being lazy and not studying, how imperative it is. Because if we open an institution tomorrow, we have to have competent instructors to pass that information on. So this is why it is a due diligence that rests with us to actually study, not just, you know what I'm saying, oh, so-and-so said so, or he said so. You have to have people who can attest to records. So I just wanted to say that even in that vision, it still requires people to study, because if we take their curriculum, we won't learn anything. Like if we're teaching off of the curriculum that they teach people to teach off of in these public schools, we emphatically won't learn. A teacher told me directly after doing the homework assignment that based on the nature of the homework assignment, that she couldn't grade it, she couldn't give me any credit or take any credit from me because they have a curriculum that they have to stick by. And the work was above the curriculum. So she wouldn't even give me credit for it. But her revelation and admission to that curriculum was worth more than any grade she could have ever gave me, because it was an admission from their own mouth that they have no intentions of letting our knowledge base go higher than the curriculum that they do have in place. And I just wanted to add that on why it's important that we do need to study Islam.
I went next door to speak to the principal over here. For the last 2 years, I've been trying to show hidden colors to those children over there. This year, I got a chance to speak to the principal face to face about showing the documentary, Hidden Colors. That principal said to me, well, you see, we have a curriculum here that we can't show something like that because of our curriculum. Now, when he said that to me, I understood what he was saying, the word curriculum. Curriculum means circular. You're going around in a race, and you're going from one place to the other, which what they're teaching now is from Martin Luther King to slavery, from slavery to Martin Luther King. This is what's taught in Black History Month. So that's what the curriculum is. So as long as they're using a curriculum, the curriculum does not educate.
Right.
If I take you around in a circle, you're going to see the same thing coming around again. I mean, that's what a curriculum is. So, yeah, right. So when you're talking about curriculum, you're not talking about education. We're using the wrong wording about everything. We're using civil rights and curriculum and Black history, and we're tripped up in the words that we are using, and they have us using the same thing, and we're speaking the same way. So we got to come out of that, number one.
May I make a comment also? I think this is why no matter what discipline we've all gotten involved in, it always said that we must have our own schools. Even Prophet Obuchurali said to the people running temple, you must have your own schools.
Right.
So the whole thing that we are in a mental slavery still, most of us, and like for instance in Texas, a lot of the mothers were taking their children out of the school to homeschool. Yes, and then the corporate taxes, which has no jurisdiction over the people, if we understand who we are. Said, well, we're going to give a test now. This is their way of coming back. We're going to give a test to the parents to see if the parents can pass what? Still, their curriculum. We have to come completely out of that and never utilize any of their statutes, ordinances, and things like that because it's designed to keep you in there. Now, there is a case law. Ms., do you have the sister standing on law thing I gave you this morning?
No.
Oh, it's in the car. All right, check this out. We found the case law. And the case law absolutely is relative for the mothers and parents who would take their children out of the school, and it's constitutionally, remember, because all case laws are from res judicata and constitutionally dealing with your constitutionally secured rights and choices. And this is really dealing with religion also. But the case law is very much to support all mothers who wish to take their children out, who will no longer be accosted by anything new they come over the right or the left with. Because why? Because parents are starting to take their children out. So now they're sitting back on their round table trying to figure out how can we undercut this and give them some other order. So taking your children out and even going into charter schools is still under their curriculum and under their what? Jurisdiction. So I was just telling the brother, we have to learn that what jurisdiction means, the right words or the right to speak. They can't speak and they don't have the right words for us. So we got to completely take it out. One of the reasons is the mental slavery we're still in. But I know we're getting there. And this particular case law, I wish that we had brought it up. I would read it because it's powerful. But I will say that we do Sister Standing on Law tomorrow, and we'll be reading it on that, so I don't have it with me. Islam.
I need a volunteer. We going to, this is a map. I bought this map in Niagara Falls. I bought that map in Niagara Falls. And just like I told y'all, my mind don't ever stop working. So I looked at it, and she'll tell you, I started smiling. I'm like, I'm buying this map. Now, I need one more volunteer. We're gonna get y'all over Holden, and I need one more volunteer. Amen. Huh? Yeah, well, right, so I want you to focus on America, right? Tell me anything that stands out, just right off the clear, because it hit me ASAP.
What's the question?
Now, I want you can come up too if you want to, right?
What are you asking?
This, I want everybody to focus on America, but only if you're standing there, you can see what I'm talking about. Y'all can't see it from back there. This is America, correct? Right. So north and south, essentially, that's America. Now, there's something there that they put there to throw people off, and most people won't see it because of the curriculum.
Yeah. It's been taught.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Nope. This the type of things they do just to throw you off. But when you've been studying, it's, you know what I'm saying? You see it ASAP. You see that?
Well, okay, I see what. They put Canada up here and they put the North America up.
Well, that's where Canada is.
No, I'm just saying, Canada part of North.
All right, let me show. All right, now yeah, Rick's on it, and I think Rod's got it. Anybody else want to take a peek before I snip?
Yeah. What it was.
I mean, if y'all want to come take a look, come take a look. And then we'll break it down. Don't say, no, don't say. This is America, we all agree. All right, now I want y'all to tell me what sticks out that they did purposely to throw people off.
Oh, what they do?
No, don't say it. Who said what they do? Come look at it. Why you snitch, man? This is America. We agree. North and South, same place. They did something on here to throw you completely off. Well, no, they ain't sectioned it off. That's the way it looks. The colors coordinate to the land mass. You know, it's ice up there, so you know that's why they got mountains in that region and the city on the east coast. So everything corresponds to where. This is from the curriculum that we send our children to go to school to.
It ain't the orange spot, is it?
Nah, not the orange spot. But when you are groomed in that curriculum, you'll look at that and you'll never be able to decipher what they did. You'll never actually be able to say, all right, I see what they done. Because you've only been in their curriculum. You've only learned from their schools. But when you go to our school, you like, man, I saw that, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just looking like, you still ain't see it? Anybody want to tell us what it is? Or anybody want to say what they think it is?
Sure. Let them see.
So do you. This is America, correct? North and South, right? All right. Now I want y'all to look at this and what's printed on there and tell me what's different. If you don't know, don't be ashamed to say you don't know, because some of them don't know, and I'm gonna tell everybody. So if you don't know, don't ever be ashamed to say you don't know, because when you tell me you don't know, then I can explain and teach you, so that way you will know. So don't ever be ashamed to say you don't know. That go for y'all grown-ups too. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Down here on the continent of South America, it says South America. South America. South is right under America because there is no discrepancy about this land down here. We all know that that's South America. There's no discrepancy. And although they are Americans, nobody calls them Americans. Right? Although they are Americans. Now when you come up to this land, what's known as North America, you got this space right here that's bordered off that they call the United States, right? Now it says right here on the map, United States of America, okay? Now when you look up here, you got the land bordered off, and it's a border right there, and that land is called what?
United States.
Can't hear nobody. Canada, right? Well, they call it Canada, we know it's Canada. So When you look right here, now, when you look back to this part that they call the United States of America, to the rest of the world, it is known as what?
North America.
Not North America.
United States of America.
The United States is known as what? America.
America.
Okay. So Canada is not considered America to everybody else. I told y'all a few classes ago, I was up there going back and forth with this girl because she kept calling me American. And I'm like, what the hell do you think you are? I only came a little bit north. Now, that land is called America, right? Now, down here, like we said, South America says in South America. Why does this land only have America where the United States is and north above the border in Canada? They do that to throw you off. That's deception. And they putting it right in your face, but you got to be aware of it to know it. This land is called America. This one is not, but it's all America. They put on the United States, which is American, because if you're a United States citizen, you're an American, right? If you're a United States citizen, you're an American, right?
No.
No.
This is why we got to open up some books and read them. United States citizen does not mean American, right? United States citizen is a United States citizen.
First of all, I want to thank you for what you said about not teaching nationality things and really not getting education. Thank you, brother. I can't even add to that because that's it. But what I wanted to say about that is I just recently read in a website written by a so-called Canadian. Said, Canadians stopped being called Americans at the War of 1812.
Right.
Said, when the so-called North Americans or the colonists start kicking Canadians behind, that's when they start saying, okay, no problem, we are not going to be them. We're going to be Canadians and they're going to be Americans.
They can say what they want. They still Europeans. They still Albions. They can say what they want.
Exactly.
The land is America and they can't change that. But they attempted to, and they figured that nobody was going to see it. They said, oh, that's a nice map. Look, they even got the Liberty buildings downtown Philly right here on this map. So people gonna look at the cute stuff. I look past that. I look past that. Just like I watch a movie, I look past the screen. I'm looking at what's going on behind the screen. Come on now. So if we sitting there and we saying we need schools for them, that means first we got to school. We got to be school. That means we gonna have to open up some books. I can't teach them. I don't. Come on, man. What I'm gonna say? Go to Ross McBride. She'll tell you.
Well, the history does say that that was a part of the plan, that they were sending the offspring of the amalgamated Moors back over to so-called Europe to get the so-called educational privilege there for the express purpose of causing deep division, because they weren't getting anything to benefit Moors.
Yeah, right. No.
They were getting things to benefit the Albions.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Train us to
Right, but they were
That's all it
still
will
amongst us,
Yeah.
make us think, oh, I want to get that knowledge that they had.
It's just training. It's not really being taught. Being trained.
I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. Somebody tell me what you learned in school.
A little mathematics is part of the trick question.
Christopher Columbus discovered
What do you learn in school?
Mathematics.
You learned mathematics at home before you went to school. You just couldn't interpret it. You learned mathematics before you left the house. You know if you had 3 blocks or 5 blocks. When you got the little blocks and you put them in the right place, the square block in the square, the circle block in the circle, the triangle block in the triangle, you learn it. Born baby geniuses. Why do you think they take you to teach them languages when they're young? Because they absorb everything. They like little sponges. They've been listening. One of my cousins just had a baby early May. I think early May. And the grandmother, which is my first cousin, said to me, I'm amazed. He knows all our voices. I said, of course he does. He's been listening to y'all for a year. He's been listening for a year. So of course he knows your voice when he hears it. These children are much smarter than you know. Don't think just because he's 5 you can't teach him something. You can learn algebra at 5. learn it at 5. They make you wait until you get 13 to learn. Don't you know in some of tribes on the continent of Africa, don't you know at 13 they come in, they get their own huts, they teach them how to hunt at 13. And we just learned algebra at 13.
There's some schools in New York, cultural schools. Their kids know that before they're like 8 and 10, between 8 and 10. Because we do have people who, teach them. Everybody can't teach math,
Everybody can't teach, everybody can't do math.
It's a language within itself.
But the thing is this, if I can teach math, then let me teach it. If you can teach art, I'll let you teach it. That's how we keep it simple. Yeah, so the schools, that's a great thing that they have those schools out there. But for the majority of us, we ain't getting that. These schools right here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and this is like a private, like you said, start your own school. They got a lot of them going on in Brooklyn, where people do that.
Yeah, we need to keep it going.
And we do need that. If it's no more than 10 kids to come to your house every other Saturday, because we got a lot of brothers and sisters that are pretty smart. They know things, and the kids really need that because they're not respecting us, quite frankly. And I don't blame them.
It's 2:47, y'all. We're gonna break till 3 o'clock, and then I'm gonna open this up. Any of y'all have copies of the treaty of peace and friendship? Treaty. All right. If you don't have a copy, you stop the camera already? No, you ain't gotta start it if you stop it.
I stop it.
Oh yeah, you can stop it. We're gonna break till 3.